So today we're going to go over perpendicular lines and equations. Keyword today is perpendicular. Perpendicular means the opposite reciprocal. So our slope is not going to stay the same. An example of an opposite reciprocal is this right here. So the opposite of negative 2 over 3 is positive 3 over 2. So what happened? First, our negative changed to a positive, and then these two numbers switch places. We have another example. Positive 5 became negative 1 over 5. And if you're wondering how that happened, I'm about to show you. These are more examples. So we have 2x changes to negative 1 half x. Here we have 2 over 3, positive 2 over 3. That changes to negative 3 over 2. Again, I'm going to show you many examples right now. And then probably the most difficult one is in standard form. We found out in parallel that this stays the same. In standard form, these two numbers switch places, and whatever's here changes to the opposite. So 4 and 3 are going to trade, and the plus sign changes to a minus sign. This is our symbol. We have our slope and our perpendicular slope. So again, negative 4 over 3 changed to a positive 3 over 4. And whenever we have standard form and we need it in slope intercept, our a and b value represent our slope. So negative a over b is our slope. So let's start with some examples. The first one is 3. Well, I need the opposite reciprocal of 3, but first I need to change 3 to a fraction. If I want to change anything into a fraction, I have to put it over 1. So 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1, but now it's a fraction. And what does that mean, 3 over 1? Well, 3 over 1 means 3 divided by 1. And if we go to Desmos and we put that on Desmos, we're going to put it here so you can see the difference. So we have 3, and then 3 divided by 1. As you can see, 3 over 1 is the same thing as 3. All I did was make it a fraction. So now we have negative 10. Again, I need to change that into a fraction. So that's going to be negative 10 over 1. Okay, now let's go back to the first one. I changed it to a fraction, but I still need to do the opposite reciprocal. So positive 3 over 1 changes to negative 1 over 3. Once again, first I changed 3 into a fraction. These are the same. Now to do the opposite reciprocal, I changed this. How? This was positive 3 over 1. Now it's negative. And these two numbers switch spots. So again, positive 3 over 1 changed to negative 1 over 3. Okay, let's continue number 2. I have negative 10 over 1. And I'm going to change that to the opposite reciprocal. What's the opposite of negative? Positive. And then how do I change 10 over 1? I change it to 1 over 10. Once again, I went from negative to a positive, and these two numbers switch spots. Next, I got 1 over 5. 1 over 5 is already a fraction, so now I just need to change it to the opposite reciprocal. What's the opposite of positive 1 over 5? Negative 5 over 1. And now, pay attention. If you put anything over 1, that's how we made it into a fraction. So negative 5 over 1. I'm going to put it right here. Negative 5 divided by 1 is just negative 5. So my reciprocal is negative 5. Next one, negative 5 over 4. Again, it's already a fraction, so I just need to change it to the opposite reciprocal. What's the opposite of a negative? A positive. And instead of 5 over 4, now it's 4 over 5. Next, on 5, negative c. Now you're thinking, well, that's not a number. It doesn't have to be a number. I can still change this to a fraction. Negative c is the same thing as negative c over 1. Because remember, if it's not a fraction, all you got to do is put it over 1. Now I still got to change it to the opposite reciprocal. So the opposite of negative c over 1 is going to be positive 1 over c. Oops, sorry, that's not a c. 1 over c. Remember, it went from negative to positive, and then these two switched. The last one, a over b. It's already a fraction. Now we just got to change it to the opposite reciprocal. So positive a over b changes to negative b over a. Once again, this was positive, now it's negative. And then instead of a on top, a is on the bottom because they switched spots. Make sure you look at this page every time you do a problem. This is going to be the most important page. It's going to have the example on how to do everything. It says find the equation of a line that is perpendicular to y equals 2x plus 5 and goes to the point 4, 1. Well, first, we know that perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. So we know our slope is not going to be the same. Next, you look at the equation and you find your slope. Well, my slope is 2. So what's the opposite reciprocal of 2? That's what we need for our perpendicular slope. So again, you change 2 to 2 over 1. And then the opposite reciprocal is negative 1 over 2. It went from positive 2 over 1 to negative 1 over 2 because these two switch spots. Now, I label my point. The 4 is an x value. The 1 is a y value. You write out y equals mx plus b for your slope-intercept. Instead of putting y, I'm going to put 1. And where did I get this y from? I got it from the point. I'm going to change my equal sign to a tilde because this is going into Desmos. Instead of m, I'm putting negative 1 over 2 for my perpendicular slope. That's why I have negative 1 over 2 here. Instead of x, I put 4. Where did I get that from? I got that from the point. But plus b stays the same because that's what we need to get our new y-intercept. Now, I got 3 because I put this on Desmos. So again, we're going to go put it on Desmos. 1 tilde, negative 1 over 2. And then right there, we're going to put our x value from the point, which was 4. And then we put plus b. And that's how I got 3. That's my new y-intercept. So now I'm going to go plug that in. So I'm going to use my reciprocal slope and my y-intercept. And that's how I got this answer right here. Number 1, find the equation of the line perpendicular to y equals 2x plus 4 and contains the point 4, negative 5. So first I'm going to underline the equation and then look at all your answers. All these answers are written in slope-intercept form. That's y equals mx plus b. Next, the key word here was perpendicular. We know that that means the opposite reciprocal. And then in my equation, I have to find my slope. My slope is 2. And then the point, the 4 is the x value and negative 5 is the y value. Now remember, perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. So I know right away that my slope is not going to stay the same. So if my slope is 2 and the opposite reciprocal is not the same slope, that means that the answers A and C can already be eliminated. Those are parallel lines. Now, I have to change my slope to the opposite reciprocal. So first, 2 needs to change to a fraction. So 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. Remember, if you want to change anything into a fraction, just put it over 1. Now, what's the opposite of positive 2 over 1? Negative 1 over 2. And we can see that 2 answers left have a slope of negative 1 over 2. So far, everything's correct. Now we can start plugging into our equation. Y equals mx plus b. Instead of y, I'm going to put negative 5. Where did I get that negative 5 from for my y? I got it from the y value of the point. Then I'm going to put a tilde. And instead of m, I'm going to put negative 1/2. And I got this negative 1/2 from my perpendicular slope. This symbol right here means perpendicular, and then that means slope still. Instead of x, I'm going to put 4. And where did I get that from? I got this 4 from my x, from the x value in the point. And then I'm going to put plus b. So now that I have that, I can put this onto Desmos to find my new b value. So then for that one, I have -5 tilde -1/2 parentheses 4 plus b. My new y-intercept is -3. So now I could plug it in. Y equals -1/2 x minus 3. This is my answer. So remember, I got my slope from my perpendicular slope, and I got my y-intercept from my new y-intercept after putting it on Desmos. The answer is D. It says find the equation of the line perpendicular to y equals -2/3x minus 1 and contains the point 10, 16. Again, we're looking for an equation. If you look at all your answers, they're all written in slope-intercept, so it's y equals mx plus b. It says perpendicular. If you look at your notes, you know that perpendicular means the opposite reciprocal. And then we have our equation. In the equation, we have our slope -2/3, and the point contains our x value 10 and our y value 16. So remember, my slope is -2/3. My perpendicular slope has to be the opposite reciprocal. So instead of negative, it's positive. Instead of 2/3, it's 3/2. Now that we have our perpendicular slope, we can start plugging into our equation. Y equals mx plus b. Instead of y, I got 16. Again, for that y value, I put 16. Where'd I get that from? I got it from my point, the y value 16. Tilde. Instead of m, I put 3/2. Where'd I get this from? So that slope is our perpendicular slope. Next, a parentheses 10. Where'd I get the 10 from? Well, this is an x value. That's how I got 10, and I got that 10 from the point, the x value of the point. Next, I'm going to put plus b. And once again, you're going to put this into Desmos. So it should be 16 tilde 3/2 parentheses 10 plus b. So now we have our new y-intercept. Our b value is equal to 1. So b is equal to 1. And I forgot to do something. And the first thing that I forgot to do was, we know that perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. So if my first slope is -2/3 and perpendicular means opposite reciprocal, we know it's not going to be the same. So we should have marked out A and, well, just A. And as soon as you changed it to 3/2, you could also mark out C. Now out of our 2 answers left, the one that's correct is going to be D, because that one has the wrong y-intercept. Y equals 3/2x plus 1. That was our final answer. And again, I got those numbers from our perpendicular slope and our new y-intercept. This question is the same as the first two. The only thing that's different about this question is that we have to use the graph to find the slope of the original line first and then change it. So again, they're asking us for an equation. If you look at all your answers, they're in slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b. It says perpendicular. We know that perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. And then our -2 is an x value and our 4 is a y value. This is too close. Opposite reciprocal. There we go. Now, again, first I have to find the slope of this line. To find the slope of this line, I'm going to need 2 points. So I'm going to pick 0, -3, and 2, -5. And then you're going to do your y1 tilde mx1 plus b. And now we're going to find the slope. So we'll make a table. We have 0, -2, and 2, -5. Then you put your expression y1 tilde mx1 plus b. So we can see that our slope is -3/2. Now remember, that's our original slope, -3/2. Wait, that's not right. It's 0, 3. I knew I did something wrong. And 2, -5, that's not right either. Hold on. 0, -3, 2, -5, the slope is 1, -1. 0, -3, 2, -5, our slope is -1. So that's the original slope. The original slope is -1. So our perpendicular slope is going to be +1. As you can see, our answers cannot be A and they cannot be D because those are negative and that's our original slope. So now we're going to plug in y equals mx plus b. Y is equal to 4. Again, where did I get 4 from? From the y value in your point. Tilde. Our m is going to be +1. Again, our slope is our perpendicular slope. Parentheses, -2. Where did I get that -2 from? I got it from the x value in the point, and then I'm put plus b. Our new b value is going to be 6. So using your perpendicular slope and your new b value, your equation should be y equals 1x plus 6. Answer is C. We're going to go ahead and skip 4 because it's just like number 3. Number 5, it says find the equation of a line that's perpendicular to 6x minus 2y is equal to 12 and contains 5, 7. So this one is different because it's not in slope-intercept form. The equation that we have in all our answers is standard form. ax plus by is equal to c. Again, perpendicular, that's going to represent an opposite reciprocal. Now, this equation has to change. To change it to the opposite reciprocal, these two numbers are going to switch places, and whatever is here in the middle changes to the opposite. So instead of 6x and 2y, we're going to have 2x and 6y. Instead of a minus sign, now there's a plus sign, and we're going to set that equal to c. Our point is 5 as the x value and 7 as the y value. So in order for us to find our new c value, we're going to have to plug those in. But before we do that, because we know perpendicular means opposite reciprocal, that means that this is not going to stay the same. We should have crossed out a and b. Now we can solve for c. So I'm going to 2 times 5. And where did I get this 5 from? Well, this says x. My x value is 5. I got that from the point. Plus 6 times 7. Again, where did I get this 7 from? This says y. The y value in the point is 7. And then we're going to go ahead and put that on Desmos. 2 times 5 plus 6 times 7. So 2 times 5 plus 6 times 7. Our new c value is 52. We're not going to leave it like that. We're going to rewrite it. So it's 2x plus 6y is equal to 52. And that's our new equation. So the answer here is going to be D. Number 6, we're going to do a similar question. It says find the equation of a line that's perpendicular to 5x plus 10y equals 8 that passes through 3, -2. Once again, if you look at all your answers, your equation is standard form. ax plus by is equal to c. The word perpendicular, you should know what it means by now. That's opposite reciprocal. And then again, if it's the opposite reciprocal, that means that our equation is not going to stay the same. So we know right away that the answer cannot be C and it can't be D. So to change it to the opposite reciprocal, the 5 and the 10 have to switch spots, and whatever's here in the middle changes to the opposite. So instead of 5x and 10y, I have 10x and 5y. And instead of plus, it's going to be a minus. We're going to set that equal to C. They gave us a point. The 3 is an x value, and the negative 2 is a y value. So now I can plug those into the equation. So it'll be 10 times 3. Where did I get that 3 from? It's an x value, and the x value comes from the point. Minus 5 times negative 2. Where did I get this negative 2 from? Well, it comes from the y value, and that comes from the point. And now that I have all of this information, I could put it on Desmos. 10 times 3 minus 5 times negative 2. And I get, I get 40. And now I just rewrite it. 10x minus 5y is equal to 40. Answer here is going to be A.